Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas Beer Experience podcast. This is episode 32. I can't believe we've actually made it this far. 32, it's like Sweet 16 times 2. And we made a little road trip today. We don't often get to make road trips, but I've been looking forward to this one for a while. So we drove up to Brenham, which is not very far from Houston. It was actually from where I stopped today, where I started today, it was 53 minutes, like just in Cypress. But if I'm coming from my house, it's almost 2 hours. But I've been coming to Brazos Valley for years and just have seen these guys start off really small and like one of the tightest production areas I've ever seen in my life. To a really beautiful brewery that you guys have been in here for almost going to 2 years now.
Yeah, a little over 2 years, I think.
A little over 2 years.
It was summer 2019 that we moved the production facility over.
That's right. And the voice you just heard, that's owner and founder Josh Bass.
That's correct.
And we're also joined today by another Josh.
Yep.
Josh Kahanek. He is the sales manager.
That's right.
Yep,
That's
sales
right.
manager here at Brazos Valley. And you guys are also known for having a lot of Joshes.
We like to hire within our name group.
Yeah. So
we like to hire Davids because that's another business partner of mine, and Jeremy's my brother's name. So Josh, Jeremy, David, Nelsons are all welcome to apply.
And all the Joshes are cool. I haven't met many of the Jeremys, but the Joshes are super cool.
You're in good company.
Yeah.
You're fine.
That might be a tell, because we've had a few Jeremys, hopefully they're not listening to the podcast, rotate through the brewery.
Is
But,
it? Okay. All right.
we still have Joshes on staff, but we don't have any Jeremys on staff. So
And then I heard that there's a Zach on staff too.
there is a Zach.
Is it just the one Zach?
Yep,
Yeah.
just one right
Just.
now. He's all right. We'll interview some more Zachs if need be.
All right. More Zachs. So, Josh, I don't know if you remember one of the times. I think one of the first few times that we actually got to interact was when I was at Spindletap, and we did this crazy event called Meat Sweats.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That sounds great.
And oh my gosh, so like me and a couple buddies thought this out. It was like, oh man, it'd be cool to raise money for the Texas Craft Brewers Guild. We could do a barbecue cook-off where we ask other breweries to make brisket, and the money that we raised went to the Texas Craft Brewers Guild. There was one thing I learned that day, and I don't think you guys were in that group because there was a few briskets that were really good, and there were some that were not great. And I was telling people, we learned that day that brewers are really good at making beer, not so much at making brisket.
You know, that event was pretty cool. When we saw the invite come out, we were like, this sounds awesome. We can go to Spindletap, bring a smoker, and smoke a brisket at Spindletap and hang out.
And it was like an
That's gonna
overnight
be-
thing. You guys got
Yeah.
there early the day before. We all hung out. It was a good time.
Terrific.
We were like, man, there's gonna be like tons of breweries all hanging out, smoking briskets together. And we got there, and you guys were like, oh, hey, you're the only brewery that showed up. And we're like, really? We were
Yeah.
super excited. We're like, wait a second, we can camp out overnight at Spindletap and smoke a brisket and hang out? That sounds like a blast.
I know, right?
And it was a blast.
We had so much fun. That was a good time, and it was the other Josh that made the brisket. And
Yeah, Josh J.
Josh J. Yeah, good dude. And I think he works for a barbecue company now, right?
He works
Yeah.
for LJ's Barbecue here in town.
LJ's made the top 50 in the Texas Monthly this year, correct?
That's right.
Man, they
And
made some
in fact,
good
for
Deservingly so.
for that event, we brought a brisket from them as a ringer in case ours was terrible. So we had 2 briskets.
Did you really? See?
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad I brought that up. I had no idea.
Yeah, we smoked one that night, and who knows how well that turned out. But we also had one from them that they smoked the day before.
Yeah. So I gotta
We served them
know.
both.
But which one did you submit for judging?
I can't remember because we stayed up all night long.
Yeah.
And I drove home at like 5 a.m., slept for an hour,
Yeah.
maybe 2, we were back up there at like 10. So
You drove home? You
Yeah.
drove home and came back?
yep.
Man, that's why I say 2 hours. That was a 2-hour drive right there.
Well, I was in
To the
Cyprus,
east.
so it wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
you were in Cyprus.
Yeah, wasn't
Gotcha,
too bad.
gotcha.
If Josh J was involved, it was a good brisket.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I've had several of the things that Josh has pulled off a smoker, and he's a very talented individual for sure.
He came into the tap room last week when we were all here, and he smelled so good I almost kissed him.
He definitely smells like barbecue every time you walk through the door.
That's not a bad thing.
It's too
man.
great.
It's not a bad thing. I love doing stuff in the backyard all the time too. And yeah, man, that's some good stuff. So
Is that the new Hazy? Get one of those.
So
Thank
we
you.
have beer, and also I've been toying with the idea of doing video. So we're actually recording video right now, and I recorded a little bit of video a few weeks ago when we were over at Elderson, and the phone, like, or the camera I was using, just it crapped out on me. So we're hoping it doesn't crap out today, and we'll have the full episode. It'll go up on YouTube and IGTV. We're going to take our first quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk beer. If you're watching the video, you'll see that we have several beers on the table. We have some cans, and yeah, we'll talk everything beer in Brazos Valley. So stay tuned with Josh Bass and Josh Kahanek. Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to segment 2 of episode 32 of the Texas Beer Experience podcast. Once again, joined by Josh Bass and Josh Kahanek of Brazos Valley Brewing Company in Brenham, Texas. We're just going to call you guys JB and JK.
That works.
That works perfect.
All right, JB and JK. So let's talk some beer. So when I first got here, and I saw this on a social media post earlier today, this is a brand new beer that you guys are putting out. It's called Jam Session. I don't know if you can see it on the video. It's a Session IPA, all Mosaic hops.
Mosaic and Comet hops.
Mosaic and Comet, man,
75-25 Mosaic.
75-25 Mosaic. It's super tasty, and it's a session, which, I mean, if you live in Texas, man, like a session beer is just wonderful, especially, especially when it gets hot. Is this going to be a year-round beer?
No, that's our winter/spring seasonal. So
Okay.
that'll be hitting the market in about a week,
Next week.
and
Yep.
then we'll have it in the market through, I guess, March.
Mhm.
In
Through March? So spring break?
Yeah.
Spring break hits, this will be on the river, man. And so one of the things I love about your brewery is you guys are all about music. So this one's called Jam Session.
Mhm.
I like the cans that say B-sides and rarities, which are always really good. Usually those are like bigger beers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like barrel-aged stuff.
It's going to more experimental styles, bigger
Yeah.
bigger beers, things like that. You'll notice some of the labels are getting a little bit upgraded this year
Okay.
to represent the B side of the vinyl album.
All right.
You'll see that looking really cool with Jam Fest being the next beer that we do in that series.
Jam
So,
Fest.
Jam
Which will be
Sessions
double
Big
IPA.
Brother. Yeah, very excited for that.
So there's a jam session, and now we're gonna have a whole festival.
That's right,
of
yeah.
jamming.
Yeah.
So the B-sides this coming year, the B-sides will be higher alcohol beers and or more fruit forward or more experimental styles, higher adjunct beers.
Yeah, okay.
And then our seasonals will be more in the traditional line of beers. So like last year, our Hellas Lager was part of the B-sides. But we're
That's right, I
rolling
remember
that
that,
into
yeah.
a seasonal beer, and its B-side slot is going to get taken up by something that I can't remember.
The
I think it's
seasonals
gonna
are
be
pretty
a
much all
key lime
crushers.
Goza or something like that.
Yeah, we're doing some fruited gozas. Watermelon Weather is our most popular, probably.
You guys have
limited
done
release
that
we
one in
do.
the past,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that one's
That's a good
probably
one, yeah.
always coming back because people just love that.
Yeah, I think I had that the last time I came here. Such a good beer.
And so, we recognize that that's something people are gravitating towards, and so we're riding that and doing a few different takes on that with a couple of different styles of fruited gozas. A coconut lime goza following
Yeah,
right
yeah.
behind that, and in the wintertime doing a grapefruit goza. It's grapefruit season in the Rio Grande Valley. We're launching the Rio Grande this year. We're going to be selling beer down in the valley. It's going to be 75 degrees in December, so we're doing a grapefruit goza.
Man, that sounds
Not
awesome.
85
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Crazy weather. Do you guys still do the peach beer? Millions of peaches?
No, but we will have it on tap this summer in the tap room.
Yes.
We have a 1-barrel pilot system. So yes and no.
That's been a favorite.
We're not
Yeah,
going to
missed it.
distribute it this year. Well,
Yeah.
we didn't distribute it last year.
Yeah.
But we will have it on tap. We didn't even brew it at all last year.
We sure do get lots of questions about it.
Yeah.
Millions of peaches. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
that's
love
kind of how I think a lot of breweries operate is if something proves successful, if it's doing well for us, it'll come back in rotation in a couple of years, but people are always looking for new innovation, what's new and exciting. So if something's getting played out over 3 years in a row, it's time to refresh a little bit, get your wholesalers excited, get the retailers excited. They don't want to see the same seasonals from us every single year. And,
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing in Galveston now. We're refreshing a lot of stuff. We have the flexibility to do a lot of different things, and we can start doing some lager drinks. So we're really excited about that.
Mhm.
We already played with a couple, so yeah. Josh, I do want to ask you about your brewing journey. How did you discover beer? What was your first beer, and when did you decide that this is what I want to do?
So I probably discovered beer maybe 14 or 15 years old in high school
Yeah.
from my older brother and just being a high school kid.
Of course.
And we used to drink a lot of, just light lager beer, like every high school kid.
Yeah, American light lagers.
Yeah,
Yep.
the cheapest stuff you could get. And that carried through into college. But I distinctly remember the very first craft beer I ever had. I think I was 15 years old, and it was a Sam Adams. And it was the worst thing I'd ever tried. I could barely tolerate a Bud Light at that point. And to drink a Sam Adams back then, I was like, oh my
Do you
gosh.
remember? I don't know how old you are. I mean,
Let's see. You're on
almost
episode
50.
32 podcast. So I'm older than that.
You're older than that.
I just turned 42
Okay.
this month. So
Maybe
beginning
this
of
was still
month.
around when you were in high school, but I remember in high school, because I used to work at Kroger, they used to sell this case of beer, and the case was just white, and it literally said in big letters, black letters, beer. That was it. And the cans were the same way. It was a white can
No way.
that said beer on it. And I think it was $12 for
Like
one case or
government beer or
something.
something.
And I remember drinking some of those, and it's funny because in Houston they have the beer can house,
Right.
and they actually
Right.
have one of those cans in the beer can house. And I was like, look, they have that. And
Oh,
I
cool.
actually saw that can at Fredonia in Nacogdoches. They have a wall of old beer cans, and that one's in there too.
That's
so
awesome.
Too
I
cool.
never saw that, but I worked at Kroger as well in the produce section. So, but no, I never saw that. And I even lived a few blocks from the beer can house at one point in my life.
Did you?
In the Heights, so.
But then you did Sam Adams, and you were like, this is
Yeah,
the worst. So
so-
was it Boston Lager?
Yeah, it was the regular Boston Lager,
Wow.
and then, tried Shiner Bock after that. My brother was a huge Shiner Bock fan.
Yeah.
And he was probably 18 or 19 at that point when I was tagging along. And then, so reverted back to the Miller Lights, the Bud Lights, whatever.
But Ice.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dude.
The Penguins. Don't fear the Penguins.
That's right.
When we were in high school and shortly after graduation, that was our beer. And it was all about the commercials. The
I know.
commercials with the
And
Penguins.
the bottles that look like crystal ice.
Why ask
Right.
why? Right? Try Bud Dry, remember that commercial?
almost completely forgot about that one, man.
Red Dog, those used to be
Red
the
Dog.
the go-to, make you throw up type beers.
I remember the first time I tried MGD. I thought I was gonna throw up. Yeah.
You know, we thought we were the coolest whenever we could actually finish a 40 ounce without throwing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a 17, 18-year-old kid thinking that they were awesome because they were able to stomach 40 ounces of Old English.
Yeah, right. I mean,
malt liquor.
I would venture to say that I might not be able to stomach it now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to try it now.
Unless you're paying me.
Right.
Listen, whoever makes that, or if it's Old English, I don't know
I
who
think
brews that
those
beer,
things-
but I'll do it if you pay me.
I think they were like $2 or $3 a bottle back then. It was like
Yeah.
the best like price per ounce bargain you could get whenever you're saving your lunch money for alcohol. So
Do you remember the Walgreens exclusive beer, Big Flats?
Big flats.
I do, yeah.
Big Flats.
I do remember that.
It was
I never
Walgreens
tried it.
exclusive and like $3.99 or something. A
Really?
six-pack. Yeah.
Like, how long ago was that?
Oh, 10
10 or 15
years ago.
I remember seeing
Really?
it in like 2006, 2007.
I was in college. It was like 15 years ago or something.
I was
Yeah.
totally unaware of that one.
Yeah, that was
I
my
know
that was
like
my floating beer in San Marcos, the Big Flats. Yeah.
floating beer.
It was
for sure.
terrible.
So as we got older, when I was in college, still not old enough to drink, but me and my buddy Sammy, we would go to the grocery store with my brother, who was old enough, and we'd stare at the beer and look at the imports and say, well, what do we want to do today? Do we want to drink quality or quantity? And we'd either get an import beer, Labatt Blue or something like that.
Yeah. The Coors Light of Canada.
Exactly,
right?
something we thought, you know, you're paying like $2 or $3 more for and only gonna get a 6-pack or 2, or we just get like a 12-pack or 18-pack of, you know, Miller Lite or something like that. So we progressed from there, and then we just maintained those similar type of drinking habits where, depending on our mood, we were buying imports and or just drinking the domestics. Fast forward to after graduating and I'm working a day job as an engineer. My brother comes to my house one night with some Southern Star Bombshell Blonde, and he's like,
Alright.
hey, check this out. And he brought some homebrew beer too that him and his our buddy Nelson had brewed together, and they were like, we've been brewing beer, it's really cool, blah blah blah. It's like, that's awesome, that tastes great, this is good beer.
Yeah,
There's
I
like
actually
combo.
had one today earlier for lunch.
And
There you go.
Yeah. it's
I mean,
nice,
I had
nice
had
beer.
St. Arnold's long before that as well. I was drinking
Right.
St. Arnold's lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
That had become like a mainstay in my fridge at the time he brought the Bombshell over. But he was like, there's other breweries around. Isn't this cool? And I was like, I never knew. Had no clue. I just knew St. Arnold's. And so they started brewing beer, and they got me into it. And I had an engineering background, so I was all about like just the process and
Yeah.
how can I take your homebrew system and make it better and build it better. And,
That engineering mindset just started to go to work, right?
right.
Yeah.
And then as we kept homebrewing together, and I was traveling back and forth out of the country for my engineering day job, came back at the end of the project a few years later, and they were like, we decided we're going to start a brewery. And I was like, cool, I want in on that. No clue what I was doing or what I was getting myself into. I was just following along my older brother like I'd always done. And back in 2013, when we were writing up the business plan, you could not have a tap room. You could do the tour and
The tour for tokens,
Right.
and stuff
For
like
tokens
that. Yeah,
now,
just like
right?
St. Arnold did for
yeah.
a long, long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and you, as a brew pub, you could not sell into the distribution channels. You had to just sell your beer on site and have food. So it was like distribution brewery or a restaurant with a brewery attached. And we're like, we don't want to do a restaurant, we don't want any of that, so we're going to do a distribution brewery. Then, after we launched, a few months later, the laws changed. And everything changed on its head. We're like, well, we're already committed, so our motto back then was too dumb to quit. And,
Too dumb to quit. That's, I mean, I'm glad you were.
Yeah. So it just snowballed from, you know, as we were doing the business plan and looking at a distribution model, it was like we have to have a larger system to got to do volume to make any sort of money.
Yeah.
Now tap rooms are awesome, and we have a tap room.
This tap room is beautiful. If you're watching the video, man, you can kind of see a little bit coming from where you guys came from before,
right,
which is kind of a mixed indoor-outdoor kind of tap room that didn't have a lot of seating.
Yeah.
To this, now you have this. You have a really nice outside patio. You got a huge property in the back. I think you guys
Big playground for the kids.
Big playground, live music all the time.
Right.
Great food trucks. I mean, just it's really cool to see where you guys came from to where you are now. And the other brewery is just down the street.
Right.
And I think I remember Josh J telling me that you guys are having to move your fermenters here via a forklift or something, like from the other brewery to here.
Well, no, we had to. The old brewery had 12-foot rafters, so we needed to use a combination of. One of our regulars here loaned us his tractor that had forks on the end of it.
Right. Okay.
So we had to do a little synchronized dance where we tilted it up with our forklift inside the brewery and picked the legs up with the tractor outside of the brewery and wheeled it into the street. Then we had to ride it, pick it up, and then we backed. We have a 16-foot utility trailer, so we picked it up, and then I would just back under it with the trailer, set it down, strap it, and we moved one tank at a time over the course of the summer to get everything over here. So when we were planning the move, people were like, "Oh man, you're gonna pay so much money to have a company come in here and rig all that up and move everything." And I was like, "You're not familiar with us, are you?" What do you mean? I was like, "I'm gonna move every one of these tanks myself." And they're like, "Are you kidding me? How are you going to do that?" And I was like, "Well, I moved every single one of them in here myself. I'm going to move them out myself." But I was like, "You don't understand. We can't just like stop the production and have zero beer, empty every single vessel, move it all up. You don't just like turn the light off and
No, right.
walk
It's not
next door
like
and turn the
flipping
light
a switch,
on."
right?
So
It's a lot of work. I mean, and I've seen that in Galveston with our new facility. I mean, we've had to like shut down a little bit while we're transitioning stuff into the new building. So, yeah, man, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and people don't understand that.
we ramped up production 6 weeks before the move. Filled up every single fermenter, filled up our cold room, and then we sold excess beer to our distributors on extended terms, knowing that we were going to have the brewhouse shut down. And then, so they loaded up on product, we loaded up on product. Then we shut the brewhouse down, and that was the first thing we moved. But once the brewhouse was shut down, every single fermenter was full. So as we packaged off beer, we'd empty the tank, wash it, and then move that tank.
Yeah.
So we moved everything over a 2-month process as we were emptying tanks, and then tried to refire everything all at once, because we didn't start brewing over here until the last fermenter was here, because I didn't buy a second glycol chiller. So I had to wait until the glycol chiller was done over there. It almost worked out perfect.
And when was that? Right before the world shut down, huh?
Yeah, that was
Pretty close.
That was, we started that Memorial Weekend of 2019 is when we started moving.
Yeah, so right there.
And then
Yeah.
we started brewing in this facility in,
Awesome.
in July of 2019. And then the very first full truckload of beer going to Austin, the driver wrecked, laid the truck over.
I remember
lost
that.
all of it.
Yeah.
The 290 sign on our stage is the one that the truck took out when we rolled it.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Do you really want to painful remember all the
That's
time?
Well, yeah,
I mean, that's wild. Like, how did you? I mean, obviously you recovered from that, like, but I mean, that had to be frustrating.
Oh, it was. It was frustrating. There were so many startup issues.
Yeah, I remember that because I was working at a brewery that used the same distributor. Because I think they were coming the next day to pick up beer from us, and they couldn't because they lost their truck.
That truck sat at a tow yard down 290 from here for months. I'd see it every time I drive by there.
Still have cans of beer in it?
Probably not.
No. Well, so what? So were you able to recover any of the beer from that?
No,
No.
it was all gone.
Wait. Did people like stop and like pick it up and put it in their cars?
I don't know. I wasn't there on the scene. There were some other employees that did go up there,
Yeah.
but I think the state troopers had it all cordoned off. But I do know that some of the draft beer was definitely donated to some DPS officers.
I bet there's some nice garages with keezers and kegerators with some good Brazos Valley beer, huh? Yeah, that's fun. Hey, is there another beer over there that I can try?
Yes.
All right, hey,
There's
here we
the
go.
Hazy.
The Hazy does it.
Yes, the recently recalculated and I think perfectly
That
dialed
got
in
your name
Hazy.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at JK's beer and I was like, man, that looks really good.
It is really good.
So that is Sabro, Simcoe, and Citra hops.
So
All really catchy words around here
pineapple,
lately.
coconut,
Little orange.
little orange, yeah. Oh man, that smells good.
Very.
Yeah, it's
very
got the nose of
tropical fruit
a
flavor.
tiki cocktail, you know?
Mm.
It's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
Isn't that great?
that's really nice.
I brought that out because we were canning it last week, and I was trying it. I'm not a big Hazy IPA fan, and I tried it, and I was like, damn, that's good. That's real good.
I really love this.
So I tried another, and I was like, man, we just changed that hop. We swapped the Simcoe and Mosaic hop out, so it's now got Simcoe in it. And I was like, that's where it needs to be.
A much better fit. Much better
It's got
fit.
great mouthfeel to it. Flavor's amazing. Nose is really good. I mean, you guys nailed it. This is really nice.
Yeah, that's terrific. I think it's dialed right now.
And I'm just like you. I don't really care for hazies that much unless they're really well done. And this is a well done hazy.
Yeah, we're on the same boat. I grew
Appreciate it.
up I grew up on beautiful, pretty, see through the glass IPAs,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And I was an old man yelling at the clouds for a couple of years while all these.
I was there even more than a couple of years. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't release a Hazy to the market until last year.
Yeah, middle
We had
last
attempted
year.
some, and they never really
I mean, you
hit
have
the
to.
mark.
You know, even if you're not a fan of it, you have to because that's what the market wants. You know. And
Absolutely.
yeah, you got to do it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like,
It's just funny. When I first started in beer, if I put out an IPA that looked like that, I would get a phone call that we got to come pick that keg up. now,
know, right?
and now that's all
It's
anybody
like, hey,
wants.
your beer's messed up, dude.
Yeah, but you
now the
know,
pours clear. They're like, is something wrong with that beer?
you know, it's,
IPA is like,
I was at a
Not
brewery,
hazy.
I'm not gonna say who it was, but they served me a hazy, and I could see through it. I was like, I don't think you know what's going on.
Yeah.
see, we made something like that, and I was like, yeah, that's not a Hazy. Back to the
Hazy it
drawing
up.
board.
Yeah, and there's different levels of haze. So like this is kind of like, I feel like this is like right in the middle of like the hazy beers I've seen. So like there's some that are like really opaque, and you can tell there's some thickness to them, and there's some that have some hazy, but you can still kind of see through them. So kind of like Sierra Nevada's hazy little things, a little bit like that. And that's a great hazy.
That's a great
Right.
one.
Yeah, but however you guys, you know, whatever color it is, I've seen all levels. You can really make a great beer that tastes great, smells good, and man,
Well, you got two ends of the spectrum, right? You got like Sierra Nevada making hazy little thing that's obviously made by a larger brewery that's supposed to be more shelf stable. You know,
Correct.
and they
Correct.
you know, they're world class, so it's going to taste the same when you buy it 90 days from now,
Right.
and that's why it looks a little less hazy. And then you got some local breweries that are coming out with really hype for kind of
Oh yeah,
hazies.
like an insane amount of dry hopping, like just
you know, 6 pounds a barrel or something like that. I've heard
sometimes
from
even
some
more.
breweries.
I've heard some insane numbers. I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, that's probably why like other like bigger breweries like Sierra Nevada, they don't do that much dry hopping because it costs a lot of money, and so
At that
I
point,
don't
it's
know.
at that point it's not very cost efficient. I mean,
There's
you can achieve the
definitely,
same flavor profile.
Yeah,
You know, there's definitely a point of diminishing returns when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to dry hopping.
Definitely.
Some breweries and brewers may claim otherwise, but I think there's a limit to what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And at like 9-10 pounds a barrel, I think all you're doing is creating unnecessary losses for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, man. Yeah. I mean, a couple of breweries I work for, you know, especially in Galveston, like I know that our dry hopping schedule is not insane. I mean, our hazies look like this, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they taste good, and yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they're supposed to look like. I've seen some that are nice and orange. I attribute that to the different malts they use in it.
True. Yes.
Because that's just a Pilsner-based malt with some
Lactose.
malted oats.
Yeah. Malted oats. Yeah.
And that's it. Malted oats and Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, you don't really have to go beyond that. But
Right.
you're right. Some people do use. I think I've heard somebody using a little bit of like crystal to get that kind of like more hue
Right.
in the color, but
Mhm.
you don't need to. This is perfect.
That's all I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, this is perfect. I did ask you guys about hobbies. Is that so? One of the reasons I like doing this podcast and sharing to the world is that everybody knows about the breweries and beer,
Mhm.
but nobody really knows like the people. Like, are they normal like me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's something new that I've been asking people. Like, what are your hobbies? Like last week we had it was a Misfit Outpost out in Cyprus, and Sarah Nadine, she's a craft beer influencer. She's into horror movies, and so we talked about her horror movie expertise, and so that was a lot of fun. I kind of like horror movies too, but I don't know. What do you guys what do you guys do on your off time that's like not necessarily beer related?
Oh man. Well, if I'm not selling beer, I'm still doing beer related things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know, it's things that tie really well to beer. You know, I'm a big time. I love trail running. I run with my dog at the park every morning.
Nice.
Disc golf. If I'm not selling beer, I'm disc golfing. Disc golf and beer go hand in hand as well.
So our head brewer
Yeah.
was a professional disc golf player, and he is.
Too cool.
His name is Jason Stromberg, and he told me like there's like disc golf players that make millions of dollars. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's a new
It's like they're
thing,
like
yeah.
professional athletes that have like endorsement deals, and they have their own television network. Like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like disc golf, like for real?
I've been doing it a few years now. When I first started throwing disc golf, it was just, you know, my house backs up to a really cool green space that has a disc golf park in it. And I moved to Austin and I was selling beer and I picked up disc golf and it was just, you know, your local burnouts throwing frisbees in the woods, and that's all I thought it was, you know. But then you realize that there's like high level athletes out there that are seriously making $1 million contracts.
That's
you
crazy.
know?
That's
It's
crazy.
a
Because like
thing.
that was my idea. It was like, so I have a good friend named Kent Bray,
Yeah.
and he's like a casual like disc golfer guy. He has like a Facebook group where he disc golfs with other people that work in beer. So I just thought it was just a fun thing for people to do. Go out and throw a frisbee and drink beer and just hang out.
Yeah.
But come to find out that it's sick.
They do go hand in hand. And there are even a couple of breweries that have great disc golf courses out
Yep.
at their spot. You know,
Yeah.
Live Oak Brewery, you know, is doing a terrific job. They host putting leagues and things like that.
Putting. So there's like
Yeah.
a putting league for disc golf.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so like, how far do you have to throw a disc?
Oh, it's too cool.
Putting.
Man. Yeah, they set up like little 100-foot shots to 50-foot shots, and you go 9 holes just as you would in a round of golf. You know, you got your 4 card, and you know they've also got one of the best Hefeweizens in the world. So
If not the best. I mean, it's been rated as the best a few times, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely a good
Yeah,
effort.
yeah, and they've got the space for it, and it's too cool. It's too cool. I know there's Anderson Valley does it as well.
Anderson Valley has
Yeah,
a disc golf course,
Anderson
yeah.
Valley has a disc golf course.
Nice. I think
Yeah,
Spindlet's
that's
had put out a little mini course out of their place.
Oh,
also.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about trying to put one out on the back half of our property.
Yeah, push for one out there.
You have room for a few baskets for sure.
Yeah, we could do 3 or 4 probably.
Yeah, we'll see if we bring that into
We
fruition.
need some more trees to make it real good, but we do have some water obstacles.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah. There's
I know
a little
when I
creek
was
there.
younger, we lost quite a few discs in the. We used to play at the Eleanor Tinsley Park in Houston.
Right, yeah.
Cool course there. There's quite a few water hazards off of Ivy that lost quite a few discs.
So
out,
so is there like a job for like teenagers, the same as like for golfers, to go looking for lost discs at the bottom of
Oh, no way.
of ponds or anything, and then resell them back to the disc golfers?
No. Disc golf is the craft beer of the golf game. All right, there's not enough money in it yet. the Budweiser of the world is,
You go in
is
with the
ball
stick
golf.
and find your own disc in that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
get
just
one of your
remember-
buddies to hold your legs while you're like, digging in the creek. Yeah.
I just remember growing up, I mean, we had friends that lived close to golf courses, and they would go out there in the woods or in the water hazards or whatever, pick up golf courses and go to the pro shop and like, hey, we have 50 golf balls, give me $20 or
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
When I was in San Antonio, I was working at Ranger Creek Brewing in my early days, and I had an apartment that backed up to an 18-hole, really nice manicured golf course, but my patio just opened up to the 18th green, and so me and my dog, when I was a bachelor at the time, me and my dog would just go out there and play night golf and just pick up golf balls all day, and I'd take them to the pro shop the next morning, and they'd reimburse me, sometimes with just a couple of pints of beer or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just clean it up more.
Yeah, it was great.
That's perfect. I'll take a couple of pints of beer for a few golf balls.
Yeah, I used to play disc golf. Now, and I'll get back into it again. But now that I've got kids, we take them camping all the time. Still have my disc golfs. They try to play frisbee with them, and they're like, "These hurt. Why are they so heavy?" They're not
So that's
really
something else I
fun.
didn't know until like a year ago, where somebody showed me a disc golf, a disc, and I was like, oh, this is really different.
Yeah.
Like, it's got some weight to it.
Yeah, it'll hurt you.
Try throwing that at a 6-year-old. They don't.
You
They
got
don't like playing
CPS coming
frisbee
to your
with
door the
that,
next
yeah.
day. It's like, sir, we heard that you've been throwing disc golfs at your kids.
But we like to take them. We like to take the kids camping, down to the beach, get them outdoors, ride bikes through the neighborhood. My 6-year-old middle child, she just learned to ride her bike without training wheels, so she's rip-roaring through the neighborhood now, all about it.
Such a great feeling, right? When you first learn how to ride a bike
Oh,
man.
yeah.
without the training wheels. It's like, I remember that too, man.
I know, I did it last week. That's cool.
And when they've been on the training wheels for so long and like so many times, riding to either campgrounds or through the neighborhood, and the annoying noise those training wheels make, they're so loud. To finally get her off the training wheels where she can ride her bike with us, and she's going long distances too.
Nice.
It's just such a nice feeling. It's like finally got one more. He's not even quite. He's 2, so he's got a ways before he starts learning no training wheels. But yeah, just doing a lot of kids activities.
Just being a dad, a good dad. That's
Being a
awesome.
dad, taking them camping, getting them
Yeah.
hiking, things like that. So
Fantastic.
those are now my new hobbies.
I like that. I mean, those were kind of my hobbies for a while too, with our kid growing up. So, and we still like to go camping. It's not the same. Now she's 21 and she drinks beer.
There you go.
But anyway, we're going to take one more quick break and come back and finish up this great episode with JB and JK. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Last segment with our friends at Brazos Valley. Josh Bass, also known as JB. Josh Kahanek, JK. So, I told you guys earlier that I have my guests answer a couple of questions at the end of the show. And so you have some time to think about it. So we like going on road trips. We like going camping. So like you take your kids camping, Josh, JB.
Yep.
We like going camping. When you go camping, like what's the thing that makes it an official road trip / camping trip?
It's gotta be the barbecue. The barbecue.
Barbecue.
Grilling out over the campfire or the fire pit.
So actually cooking, not stopping at somewhere to pick up barbecue.
Yeah. No, it's to make that a camp
cooking.
trip. It's
Yeah.
gotta be cooking over the fire, the open fire.
What do you like to cook the most on a camp trip?
I like to cook steaks. But,
Steaks.
hamburgers, we do hamburgers and hot dogs a lot.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
kids will eat that. Me and my wife will cook steaks.
Man,
We
that's a good idea. I like that.
we'll also do like brats a lot and chicken, but mostly steaks.
Yeah.
Last
Is there a favorite cut? Like porterhouse, ribeye,
always tenderloin.
tenderloin? Yeah. Okay.
Although we went, it depends on what we can find too. Like sometimes we'll just get the thin, cheap New York strip or whatever
Sure.
we can.
Yeah.
We were in Arkansas in 2020 during the pandemic, and we just hit the road and went camping. Spent 2 weeks visiting state parks in Arkansas, and we had gone to Walmart or somewhere, bought some steaks, and then we left them sitting out on the table in the sun to thaw. We were going to cook them that evening. We went down to the lake, hung out for a little bit. We came back. Squirrels had ripped into it and ran off with our steaks. So
Man, those squirrels were eating good that night.
that night we had like salad and probably chicken nuggets.
Salad and chicken nuggets.
Yeah, we ended up eating the kids' food. We had our salad and then we had chicken nuggets.
I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
But yeah, cooking over the grill, cooking
I
over
thought-
the open flame is what makes a camping trip.
And I thought you were going to say bears came and attacked our campsite.
No.
Bear stinks.
No bears, thankfully.
Yeah. My wife hates bears. Well, no, she doesn't hate them, but she's like really afraid of them. I like telling the story. So a few years ago, we were doing a family reunion in Colorado, and everybody had kind of pitched in to rent this really, really nice Airbnb. It was a super huge house that was on a mountain. It was in Breckenridge, and it was a hot tub outside. So we were all hanging out in the hot tub. And I know my wife was going to yell at me because she writes the show notes for the podcast. She's like, why do you tell people this? So we were all sitting in the hot tub, and somebody said, hey, somebody just saw a bear, behind the house. I've never seen my wife move so fast.
Yeah, man.
She jumped out of the hot tub and ran.
We don't have predators in Texas, man. We don't.
Was there a legit bear? Or was
I
it
mean,
just
I
joking?
never saw it, and I was like, "Oh man, really? I want to see one. That sounds cool." And I've seen bears. Like we go to Big Bend,
Yeah.
fairly frequently, and we've seen like black bears out there, and probably this was a grizzly. Which, yeah, you probably have a good reason to be scared.
Yeah, exactly.
The Big Bend bears are cuddly.
They're a little bit smaller. I mean, they can still hurt you for sure. But yeah, grizzly bear, man. I mean, those things when they stand up, I mean, they're ginormous and they can just rip you.
We did a summer
Pretty
trip,
quickly.
family reunion trip to Steamboat, Colorado, Steamboat Springs.
Oh, cool.
Did the same thing, rented an Airbnb and had the whole family come and stay.
Yeah.
That was a good trip. Did that 2 years ago.
I miss Colorado. Are you guys going to JDF this year?
We should.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Haven't thought about it yet.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope we do. It's
been
a fun trip.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I
Fun trip.
think, let's see, we didn't participate last year, but we did participate in 2019.
Okay.
So I believe that was the last time we were there.
I went a few years in a row, and it's always a blast.
Oh yeah.
But what I enjoy more than anything is the activities outside of the.
Right. I always say, like, the first year I
Absolutely.
went, like, somebody told me, like, you have to do the conference, like, in the convention center
Right.
at least once.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, it's a lot. Like, I got fucking trashed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know,
There's a lot
go
of
get your
people,
nuclear
you know.
samples and like whatever,
Right,
you know,
right,
and then go to Deschutes and enjoy their party that they're putting on.
Right.
Cool bands.
So the second year that we went, we did a lot of, like, brewery hopping.
Yeah.
Went to a lot of different parties that were hosted by breweries. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, Colorado, I mean, I love going up there. It's a good trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I haven't been in a couple of years, but. And Josh, or JK,
Mm-hmm.
so what about you? What's your road trip essential?
Oh man. So I've done a lot of these long trips, and a road trip essential might just be befriending the local crazy person.
Befriending the local crazy person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you seek this out?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah. I love hanging out with weird people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're driving and traveling as much as I do alone, you want to belly up to a bar and make friends with whoever the eccentric weirdo is and get to know them, because they're going to be the most fun to talk to. I know enough boring people.
Right.
Befriend the local
And
crazy
then
person.
people that have podcasts and just ask them dumb questions.
Yeah.
But so I gotta
if
know,
you're
like-
able to do a roadside stop where you're allowed to camp there overnight,
Yeah.
that's where the best crazy people are. Real serious crazy people are there. That's the best. But just bellying up at a bar and meeting the local eccentric and hanging out with that guy is the essential road trip kind of thing.
Cindy, can you share maybe a good story?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I could think of one. We were coming in from an elk hunt in Colorado. We drove. We didn't, for some reason, realize how terrible of an idea it was to drive a straight shot from northern Colorado all the way back down into Austin. And we were coming back down after being skunked on an elk hunt, and we found this really cool rest stop in northern New Mexico, around a couple of old volcanoes, actually, in New Mexico, and you can camp out in these rest stops and grill food and grill steaks and whatnot, and this absolutely insane New Mexico native, like he just goes out there to hang out and camp out there in his camper with him and his wife, accosted us in this parking lot, okay? And found out that we were both brewery guys. He's into beer. You know, we set him up with a couple of beers. He somehow conned us into cooking him a steak for the evening.
Wow.
Yeah.
That guy's got some talent.
Yeah, we cooked him a steak. He hung out with us. We got to know about him. We got to know about his grandson that sucks, who he really despises. We got to know everything. You know, we got to know a little bit about northern New Mexico, north of Santa Fe. Really cool, beautiful area. I love the high desert, and so we're hanging out, looking at a volcano in New Mexico, looking at antelope. We were drinking La Cumbre. You know, we were drinking delicious IPAs. I had to use a sock as a koozie because it was so cold outside. And I'm talking to a crazy man about how much he despises his grandson, and it was just like, that's as good as a road trip gets. That's as good as it
All right,
gets.
man. That's got to be one of the most unique answers we've ever got on our road trip question. Talk to the local crazy guy.
Yeah.
All right. I might do that sometimes. I like talking to people, and you never know.
Befriend your local crazy guy.
Yeah.
Would you say your uncle fits that category for people that road trip out?
My uncle's a local crazy guy.
He's known to hang out at the bar here. He's a wild guy.
He's a wild guy.
Yeah. He's recently moved to Brenham.
So now he's a Brenham.
He
local crazy guy.
is the local crazy now, and he hangs out at the tap room a good bit.
Yeah.
If we're having a very serious meeting where I've developed like a 30 slide, PowerPoint or something where we're talking about what we're doing for the day, he's probably at the bar,
Waving through the window.
waving through the window. Yeah. My uncle's the local crazy guy, and you should befriend him.
He's been visiting the brewery since the old place, the olden days too.
Yeah.
So,
you're gonna have a good time.
we've got some stories to tell from that guy.
That'll be the next time we come and do a podcast. We'll do
We'll have to invite him.
Josh's crazy uncle story. So definitely have him on the show.
Yeah, we'll get Uncle Mark in on the next one, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, buckle up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Last question that we always ask our guests, the tough question. Whoever wants to go first is, if today was your last day on earth, what's the beer that you drink?
Oh damn, I forgot you asked. You asked this earlier, and I was thinking maybe if it was just, if I had to just pick a beer style.
It has to be one beer.
Just one.
It can't be a style.
Just
it has to be a beer, like
one brand, right?
One brand.
And one pint.
Not necessarily one pint. If you want to drink a half barrel of this delicious beer that you're going to have on your last day on earth, you can drink a whole half barrel.
I think it might be Sisyphus, Real Ale Sisyphus, barley wine.
That barley wine is fantastic, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I think that's a good pick. Nobody has picked a barley wine yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm kind of a barley wine.
Yeah. We talked about barley wines off air earlier.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to do one.
Yeah, that's a great one. And would it just be one bomber or one pint, or how much would you do?
Well, if I get to make the
do you
rules,
want to feel anything
just
at the end?
Yeah, a 6-barrel, man.
A 6-barrel. A 6-barrel of Sisyphus.
Yeah. Let me hang out on my desert island.
And how old does it have to be?
And
Does
just
it have
ride
to
it out.
be-
Oh, 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I got to do the my birthday and my cousin. We both share a birthday somehow, and it also always coincides with Real Ale having their anniversary party.
Nice.
And so Real Ale has this vertical of Sisyphus, and we'll get to try 5-year, 4-year, 3-year Sisyphus. 4
years old when it hits the mark.
Somehow our drink tickets never run out.
I wonder how that is.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, and Sisyphus is the one. Yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
a solid choice.
Oh yeah.
First barley one that anybody's ever picked. I like that.
Happy to be the one.
Thanks, JK.
Yeah.
Thank you. JB?
So let's see. It's my last day, not everyone else's, right? So.
I mean, however you want to play it. It could be the Earth-killing asteroids coming, and it's everybody's last day, or it's like your last day on your deathbed. However you want to play it out, it doesn't matter.
And we're not making snake bites and blends, right? It's just got to be one.
It's
beer.
got to be one beer. One beer.
So I'm gonna go for quantity and quality.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with one of our lagers, our Raise a Little Helles, German Helles lager.
Yeah.
That way I can drink that from sun up till whenever it ends.
Good choice.
Yeah.
And
So if they say you get up at 6 a.m. and say there's going to be an asteroid that comes here at midnight tonight, you're going to start drinking
I'm gonna start that,
the Helles.
and I'm not gonna stop until I pass out or the asteroid.
Or the asteroid hits.
So, a couple half barrels maybe.
Oh, maybe that's like 300 pints.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Man, that's ballsy. You're gonna have to definitely like chug some of that.
Cause I mean, what else am I gonna do? Like cut the grass and check my investment accounts? Like, who cares?
I like that. I like that question. And I can't believe I didn't bring this up, but we refilled our beers during the break, and I'm almost finished with this. This is fantastic.
See, I thought about picking the
Fantastic
Gringo
lager.
Honeymoon, but it's a nice amber malty. It's just a delicious amber lager.
Gringo Honeymoon, Mexican lager, man, and I've had this before, and I think I told you this off air. This is better than the first time I had it. You guys did something
It's
different.
great this
It's
year.
really, really nice.
Compared to last year's release, which I say last year as the 2020 release, not 2021, because we're in January.
Yeah.
So, and this beer was brewed in 2021. But the one you had before most likely was the 2020 version.
Yeah, definitely.
And I lightened it up a little bit to make it a more easy drinking. It was
Mhm.
just a little bit too much. The body was too big, too heavy.
I felt it was too.
For what we were,
Yeah.
for what I was going for.
Yeah, this is perfect, man. Highly recommend this. Can you find this in stores also?
You should be able to find 6-packs all over Houston, Austin,
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
Any of your big HEBs, any of your big specs, Whole Foods,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have it. Yeah.
Go find it.
And this is the end of it though. It'll be gone until the end of this year.
This is the end of it.
We
We'll
do
still
plan
have
on
it here at the tap room, but
we do plan on doing it again next year.
yeah.
Good.
Well, now
2022,
this year,
So is this
now-
like a seasonal that you guys do?
Yeah, it's our winter seasonal.
Nice.
So end of the year, I think November is on the calendar for it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, another batch in November 2022.
All right, I'm down for it. I'm gonna go pick up a 6-pack of the current one. This is really good. Really, really good. Guys, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for
I've had a
having
great
us.
time.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming out.
it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
a blast.
Blast.
And last thing, so like, when are you guys open? When can people come visit the tap room?
Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday. Okay.
So we're open Wednesdays 3 to 9,
Okay.
Thursdays 3 to 9, Fridays noon to 10, Saturday noon to 10, Sunday noon to 8.
Okay.
Kind of all over the map, but there's a little consistency.
And make the trip. It's really cool. You're not.
Yeah. If you're coming from College Station, from Austin,
Yeah.
from Houston, it's not that far away.
Yeah.
An hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. It's a great spot. You guys have really nice outdoor seating. You guys do live bands, great food with food trucks throughout the week. Or do you guys have the food trucks here during the week or just the weekends?
Food trucks just the weekends.
Yeah.
During the week we do. Well, I'll take that back. On Wednesdays we do our own pizzas, pretzels. We've got we have pretzels that we always do with beer cheese. We have nachos with shredded chicken or ground beef, just various toppings for it.
Yep.
And then we have food trucks on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But even when we have food trucks, we still do the pretzels and we still do the nachos.
I had the pretzel last time I was here. It was really good.
So
Yeah.
and those pretzels come from Craftsman Bakery in the Heights.
Nice.
And we heat them up, dress them with the butter and the salt, and then we make the beer cheese here.
Good quality stuff.
So,
Good
yeah,
food,
it's-
great beer. Always a great time to hang out here at Brazos Valley. You guys come hang out. This is a great spot. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you again for having us. If you are listening to the show and you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to subscribe. Leave us a comment. You can actually email me, Leo at TexasBeerExperience.com. I'm sorry, I've had a few beers. Let me know what you think about the show, how we can improve it, how we should not change anything about it. We'd love listener feedback. You can listen to us on all the major podcast platforms and see even some of the ones that you don't know, that a lot of people don't know about. So check out the website, TexasBeerExperience.com. We have some great blog posts on there as well as our shop with some great t-shirts and hats. And stay tuned for next week. Next week's episode, we're taking a little road trip out to Fredericksburg, and we'll have All Stop Brewing on the show. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, have a great weekend and go drink some more Texas beer. Have a great one. Cheers.
Cheers.